Well, good morning to everyone in India and outside United States who are about 12 hours ahead of us, and good evening to everyone here, including our LA community. Thank you all for joining us today. Like Kathy mentioned, that we have this incredible individual sharing her story tonight, and I'm very excited to learn all about her journey. Dr. Keerthi is a Gandhian changemaker and president of Vasavya Mahila Mandali. And Vasavya is an acronym which was written in 1969, which consists of reality, social outlook, and development of individual. Mahila means woman, and Mandali means association. So that's what we are going to be talking about alongside with her great work. And I just wanted to share this great story behind Vasavya Mahila Mandali. How did I do, Dr. Keerthi?
Yeah. So exciting, and Jai Insan to everybody. Jai Insan is Hail Humanity. As Tara told, I'm coming from a Gandhian family and an atheist also. And my grandfather became the first atheist in India, and he started it. And with regard to my education, I did my master's in social work. And after a pause, I did my program in social development and leadership from Coady International Institute in Canada. And they did public-private partnership executive development program from INSEAD Business School, Paris. And besides that, I underwent many trainings and also gave many trainings to many more people to become the change makers. That's what in brief, and my social development experience is more than 4 decades, and it gave me a lot of experiences, and I'm a continuous learner. That's what in brief about me. And we can hear more about me and the work which we are doing later in the due course.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Keerthi. And
thank you.
For sure, you have done remarkable work in those 4 decades in social development with women, children, and families through various community-driven interventions, like you mentioned, in the areas of violence, health, nutrition, education, and livelihood, you name it. And that's just amazing. I would like to show you all this short video highlighting some of her incredible work.
Mahila Mitra is a social initiative aimed at empowering women in preventing, detecting and resolving violence against them. This initiative took shape by joining hands with Vijayawada City Police in Andhra Pradesh on 24th January 2017, the International Girl Child Day. Vasavya Mahila Mandali, as lead organization, works together with Vijayawada City Police, community women and men, educational institutions, women's self-help groups, other stake and non-stakeholders.
స్త్రీలలో కూడా వాళ్ళలో న్యూనత భావం లేకుండా నేను ఒంటరిగా ఉన్న స్త్రీనైనా నేను ముందుకెళ్ళగలను అనే ఒక భావంతో మేము ఒక 2 సంవత్సరాలుగా మహిళా మిత్ర అని ఒక సామాజిక ఉద్యమాన్ని మొదలుపెట్టాము. దీనిలో స్త్రీలను చైతన్యవంతులు చేస్తూ సహకారం ఇచ్చే పురుషులతో కూడా చేస్తూ విజయవాడ సిటీ పోలీస్తో కలిసి ఒక కార్యక్రమాన్ని రూపొందించడం జరిగింది.
Vasavya Mahila Mandali created awareness among police that the distress faced by women in coping up with abusive relationships within family could be dealt better through community rather than through direct police intervention. That was how a safety network for women in Vijayawada evolved. Mahila Mitra committees were formed with about 200 men and women in 21 police stations at Vijayawada. 8,120 support group members and cops were trained on gender-based violence, laws, cybercrime, safety, life skills and self-defense.
ఒక ఇద్దరు కానిస్టేబుల్స్ని అక్కడ వాళ్ళ సమస్యలు రాగానే వాళ్ళు రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవడం, ఆ కానిస్టేబుల్స్ని కూడా కొంచెం ఎడ్యుకేట్ చేస్తాం మేము. వాళ్ళు రాగానే ఎలా రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవాలి, ఎలా మాట్లాడాలి, కాస్త మంచినీళ్ళు ఇవ్వటమా, మంచినీళ్ళు తాగుతారా, వాళ్ళ సమస్యలు వచ్చినప్పుడు వాళ్ళని కొంచెం ఆదుకున్నట్టుగా ఉండాలి, ఎలా ఉండాలి చేయాలని వాళ్ళకి మేమే ట్రైనింగ్ ఇస్తాం.
At every police station, 2 women constables are appointed to ensure that there is always a female cop present to listen to the complaints from women. With Mahila Mitra support, the department could amicably resolve issues of 79% of women in crisis.
మాకు ఇంతవరకు ఈ సర్వీస్ చేయాలన్న ఒక ఆలోచన ఉన్నా కూడా మాకు సరైన ప్లాట్ఫామ్ దొరక్క మేము హౌస్ వైఫ్స్గానే ఉన్నామండి. ఈ విఎంఎం ద్వారా మాకు ఒక చక్కని ప్లాట్ఫామ్ ఉంది. ఒక సొసైటీకి మేము ఎంతో కొంత మా వంతు సాయం చేస్తున్నామని ఒక తృప్తి మిగిల్చిందండి.
Mahila Mitra also focuses on addressing issues where certain public places are women unfriendly. The motive is to identify these problem areas, bring them to the notice of police and other stakeholders and get them resolved. Mahila Mitra also visits schools, colleges, workplaces and women community groups to speak about women's rights, activism and create awareness about the laws for women. Yet another innovative initiative of Mahila Mitra was to bring Eve teasers to the counseling centers or police stations and counsel them along with their families. A lot of transformation took place among these young men. These unconventional approaches that focus on reformation of youth rather than punishing them has been applauded by many.
తప్పు చేసిన వాడిని నువ్వు దోషి అని నిలబెట్టడమే కాదు, నీలో పరివర్తన రావాలి. అలాగే తల్లిదండ్రులు కూడా మీ పిల్లల మీద మీరు కొంచెం బాధ్యత వహించండి. తల్లిదండ్రులు ఏం చేయాలి అని తల్లిదండ్రులకు కూడా కౌన్సిలింగ్ ఇవ్వడం వలన దీనిలో చాలా మార్పు వచ్చింది.
Women are now far more comfortable and confident in entering police stations in Vijayawada city or approach any police at public places to raise their grievances.
ఇదివరకు బయటికి రావాలంటే అసలు చాలా మంది సంకోచించేవాళ్ళు మాలో ముస్లిమ్స్లో. ఇప్పుడు మహిళా మిత్ర వచ్చిన కాడి నుంచి వాళ్ళలో కూడా మేము కూడా వస్తున్నాము, వాళ్ళలో కూడా తీసుకొస్తున్నాము, వాళ్ళలో కూడా మా వాళ్ళలో కూడా చాలా ధైర్యంగా వస్తుంది.
The idea of conducting Mahila Mitra meetings at the police stations sensitized the Vijayawada police force itself.
Common prevailing perception is police is not to be trusted. Generally, cutting across all sections of the society, and particularly so women section of the society. But today, after this, initiative, Mahila Mitra, which has been initiated, this program, you find groups of women coming to the police station, sitting in the police station and conducting meetings and deliberating how to go ahead in partnership with the police. So that is the kind of change which has, impacted within the police department as well as in the communities. Today the communities, they feel comfortable to walk into any police station. That is Mahila Mitra initiative. We must really appreciate and thank Vasavya Mahila Mandali for taking the lead in this.
ఎంత చేంజ్ అంటే ప్రతి స్టేషన్లో ఉండేటువంటి స్టేషన్కి ఇన్ఛార్జ్ సిఐ కూడా, సర్కిల్ ఇన్స్పెక్టర్ కూడా ఇది నా బాధ్యత అనుకొని చేస్తున్నారు. అది నిజంగా గ్రేట్ సక్సెస్ మా మహిళా మిత్ర.
సమస్యల్లో ఉన్న స్త్రీలకి దే నీడ్ ఎ బంచ్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీసెస్. స్టాండ్ అలోన్ సర్వీసెస్ ఆర్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఇనఫ్. తర్వాత ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎ లిప్ సర్వీస్. వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ ఈస్ ఎ సర్వీస్ విత్ ప్యాషన్.
The Mahila Mitra impact, triggering change in the attitude and behavior of women, making them confident and courageous, preparing them to face any kind of crisis with the support network. No silence for violence.
All right, so that was just a snapshot of some of the work that Dr. Keerthi has done so wonderfully. And before we start the conversation, I would like Dr. Keerthi to tell us about herself. So with that, I welcome you, Dr. Keerthi. The platform is yours. And right after that, we'll jump right into the questioning.
Thank you so much. And first of all, let me thank UN Women that giving a voice for the voiceless women to speak on this platform. And many women, they have sent me messages, you are speaking on behalf of us. That's a great honor for us. And I'm basically coming from a Gandhian family. So from childhood, I have an exposure to the family where I am brought up. And this has given me an opportunity, and also my education is applicable in a very practical manner from the childhood. Starting from my schooling, where my grandfather has started, and then where I sat on the gunny bags and under the trees, that's what my schooling is. But it has given a kind of a thought for innovation, think out of the box, and crisis management. So those skills became very useful. And I did my graduation in Maristella College, Vijayawada. And also further, I did my post-graduation in social work and PhD from Andhra University in Visakhapatnam. And a crisis in my life has made me to step into Canada and did my further studies on social development. So what my message and my life itself is a message for many people, and it never stops. That's what a brief about me. And I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. That's only biological bondage. And I have a big joint family, which is 200% or 500% support for me, which made me on this platform. And thousands of our staff and volunteers and workers, I'm really indebted for their work which they are doing it. Thank you so much. And you will hear more about me and the work in the coming facilitation. Thank you.
Of course, that's amazing. So first of all, I want to learn that what inspired you to do such great things?
The inspiration for me, if you take it, from childhood, my brought up is to go with my mother, Mrs. Vidya, into the communities, and with my aunt and with my other uncles to go into the field. And a very young kid of 2 years, 3 years, we used to go with them to communities and sit with them, and then the and the lifestyle of the people living in the slums and even in the much more vulnerable situations. That made us very clear that the women are having a lot of issues. And when we had any kind of a questions and all those things, I really appreciate my mother, who used to have a lot of patience and tell us what the issue is. And also, I can't forget that from the childhood, my grandmother, I see her, I saw with a white sari, with no ornaments and no bindi. Normally, Indian women wear it. Once we thought of keeping flowers in her hair, she told, I shouldn't wear. I'm a widow. So, in a very childhood, it has impressed her that what is widow, why she shouldn't wear it and all those things. And we used to put number of questions for my grandmother and for mother and for everybody in the family. So that's a great inspiration for me to go along, and even during my education, the greatest impact on my life is the life story of Helen Keller. Whenever I get any kind of a crisis or depressed, I always feel that he is able to move ahead in life with not having hearing, not able to see, all these things. Then why can't we go ahead? That inspires me so much. Yes, we can go ahead. And besides these things, I have seen in my childhood that a woman who is walking into the corridors and she told that I'm bleeding because my husband has beaten me. Why? She is standing for a bus to catch, and then there she is able to read the labels to where the bus goes. So the husband was so annoyed because he felt so ashamed because he could not see or read the labels. In a patriarchal society, man feels that they should always be superior. That's why he could not even tolerate when his wife is reading. And all these incidents are not small, but has a bigger impact on me and made me to go ahead in life. And in my story also, when I see that lot of speed breakers came up, or the tide is going up and down, many a times I used to take all these stories I heard from childhood and moving along in life. What next?
That's incredible, and that's very powerful. When you think about it, that if Helen Keller can do it, why can't we? Right? That's very a deep question. It's amazing. Earlier we talked about your NGO. Would you like to share with our audience, for those who don't know what NGO means, and also a little bit about your organization, how did it start, and your work that you're continuing the legacy of your amazing mother's work?
Yeah. Our organization name, as already spelled, Vasavya Mahila Mandali. Already told, it stands for Reality, Social Outlook, and Development of Individuals. And proud to say that this organization has celebrated its Golden Jubilee and completed its 50 years. It's a women-led Gandhian not-for-profit NGO. It is started by mother, and when she wanted to start it with her sister and sister-in-law, Maitri and Hemalata Lavanam, she sat with her father, who is a freedom fighter and Gandhian, that want to do an organization for women. What inspired her is she spent her teenage in Gandhiji's Sevagram Ashram. She was trained for 2 years on community development, Naya Talmi Sangh. That motivated my mother to start this organization with 9 women. Then my grandfather has given the name as Vasavya Mahila Mandali. And then when she started, it is not a registered organization. They never even thought of having the legality and all those things. They started going into the communities and doing it. The organization was registered in 1975. Means after 6 years of its initiation, the International Women's Year in 1975 it is registered, and since last 50 years, there is no break, there is no rest. And it's always an umbrella where thousands of women are getting sheltered and became the change makers. And this organization, keeping in view its experience, is working with a gender inclusive approach. It has learned from its own experiences of either adult education or HIV programming, felt that unless and otherwise the men are also coming into the fold of gender sensitization and giving the importance for the women to get education and also to do some economic activity. So that made VMM to be gender inclusive, and also we work with a family-centric approaches. And all the approaches VMM is doing are connected with community engagement. We believe that unless and otherwise communities are owned, communities are strengthened, communities are capacitated, they own it, nothing can be possible. And especially, I want to tell you one thing. When we are talking of any intervention or project for empowerment of women, which we are using it across the world so many times, it's very difficult. It's a long-term goal. So that's why to make it a real empowerment, it should start from home. So engaging the men and boys is a part of VMM's activity since last 50 years. And also, always the women, if you take health aspects or anything, recently we developed an app for pregnant women during the lockdown. Then when we are asking them to use it, then the men are asking, is it necessary for women to have an internet for their mobile? And you can understand in the age of technology also, men are having a smartphones and women are having a basic phone. So there it should start the not only having a phone, but using it confidently enough to engage them to get knowledge, and knowledge is a power. And when it comes to education, yes, when the organization started 50 years ago, the literacy of women and girls is very, very low in India. But it is increasing. What I can say in all these 50 years, the issues of women are there, but the dimensions are changing. So according to the dimensions and the issues, our organization is taking up, and the strategies are also completely based on the people's needs and also people's demands. And if you see the work culture of VMM staff and VMM volunteers, VMM interns, it's a big family. It's a culture of humanity, a culture of empathy, a culture of understanding the survivors, and also giving them a kind of a confidence. Yes, we are there for you. So whoever steps in to VMM or whoever calls VMM, they should feel that I have a place there. Yesterday, I received a message and she is not interested to reveal her name, kept it anonymous. And she told that I am facing a lot of violence and where can I come and stay if I am suddenly come out of the home? Then chatted with her on phone and she told, yes, now I am confident that I have a place to come and stay. That is what required. And also, as I told, VMM is very, very dynamic. We have taken up number of interventions related to health and nutrition, education, livelihoods, and it is like human rights, basically on gender-based violence and torture. We feel that environment and gender and all these things are cross-cutting, and we take up all the interventions. It is throughout the life cycle of the woman we are addressing the issues with the communities. And also, we join hands with governments, and in some of the government bodies, we are there on the governing body and as knowledge partners and as lead organizations. So that is what the strength of VMM. And last but not the least, I can tell about Vasavya Mahila Mandali. It balances between humanism and professionalism. Because if we just carry only the professionalism, keeping in view the current trends, minus humanism, there is no value for the work. So the value for work will come when we combine humanism with professionalism. That is very much necessary, and the platform of VMM is very active on social media, and we use all the social media channels. Even the lockdown also never gave any kind of a rest for us. Even then we are working. Thank you so much.
Of course, that's incredible. And you're absolutely right when you say that it starts from home, right? It starts from us. So that's a great point. And it is also very eye-opening to learn that, you know, to us, it's 2020, right? We are so advanced and so tech savvy, yet we are hearing these things that women are being questioned to have cell phone access or internet access. So these are eye-opening details for all of us to learn. And that's why we need people like you, organizations that you run, to eliminate that completely. And you're right, it starts from home, and collaboratively, we all need to work towards that change. Speaking of change, I know you have made a lot of changes through change.org and your petitions. Tell us about that. Tell us about the changes that you have made and your current initiative that you're working on.
Yeah. With regard to change.org, many of you might be familiar with. It's an online advocacy platform. In March 2018, I attended for She Creates, a lab. It's a training session went on for a week, where we learned a kind of skills related to how to campaign and how to bring forth changes in the society and in the systems also. And that platform has created me and gave me all the skills. I do have knowledge, but it has given me a form of skills, how to write the petitions and how to put forth and how to do lobbying and how to bring visibility for the petitions. My first petition then is, because by then the Mahila Mitra initiative started, in which we have seen the film about a year ago. So as I have seen the experimental model started in Vijayawada, so thought that it should be very useful if we can scale it up throughout Andhra Pradesh. Then the petition came. I started it, Save the Dignity and Respect for Women, with a hashtag, No Silence for Violence. I can tell you confidently, like, with a less than a year, it has taken up a shape of a victory. How it has taken up is, besides the petition which we filed in change.org and also worked with the government, in giving a kind of study on safety and prevention for women and girls to be safe in the state of Andhra Pradesh. The study was conducted by the expert committee, and thanks for the government of Andhra Pradesh making Vasavya Mahila Mandali to be part of that expert committee. So it was started somewhere like June, July 2018, and then in February 2019, then came the by February 2019, we are able to submit a report to the government, and the government has taken up with regard to the making a study and recommending to the various departments to conduct it and to initiate policies and guidelines. Then with that, we have initiated, and I'm thankful that that is a victory which we got it on the petition with the support of change.org, and then the supported about 106,000 people have supported the petition. That made me to go into the victory, the first petition. And the second petition I started on change.org platform is, once I went to Calcutta and picking my luggage from the baggage area, I have seen one woman, a young woman, holding her baby, a month's baby, and taking out the luggage, and she is facing a lot of problem in balancing between taking out the luggage and also keeping the baby. Then she kept the baby on the trolley, luggage trolley, and the baby is swinging like this. Then she was in such an uncomfortable position, and she was so stressed. Then I inquired in the airport, is there any baby strollers in the airport? I couldn't even understand yet for my age why I'm asking baby strollers. Then I went to the airport authorities and asked them. They told no, many people won't even ask this, they don't even use it. Then that made me to write a petition, and with less than 800, I got the victory. How it got is, I made a Twitter and tagged to the Airports Authority of India and other airports in India. Then they all responded that, yes, we will start, yes, we will start. So that gave a kind of a ease for our women, those who are carrying the babies. And the third petition currently, which is run, is very essential. And many of the women, those who are in marital discard in India, they can ask for the maintenance, which we call in US as child support law. But in India, we call it as maintenance law. It is a criminal law. It is not a civil law. But when it goes to the court, and when the judiciary give the judgments that about $100 or something like that to be given for her in the value of Indian rupees, but the husbands are not giving it. Vasavya Mahila Mandali has conducted a training, survey among about 150 women, those who have got orders from the court that X amount has to be paid to them. it is found that less than 5% of the men had paid for about few months, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, like that. None of them are paying to them. It is discontinued. And even it is a victimization leading to re-victimization. And I can tell you few women where they are unable to. I met 2 days ago a woman who is living with kidney problem, and her daughter is had another issue, and the husband is not paying the maintenance. He is fighting in the court for since last 10 years because the judgment given is not being implemented. And in another case, a young girl of 27 years separated from her husband after 3 months of the marriage, and then she filed the petition for maintenance, and the court has given an order to pay 8,000 Indian rupees per month, but she hasn't received. Then she approached the police, and then the court order and warrants issued, and luckily he attended the court. But there is a provision in the section 125 of Criminal Procedure Code in India that if the husband is absconding and not paying, the court can order for the punishment of that person for jailing of 1 month. So what the husbands are preferring is, he can abscond the dues of about 263,000 Indian rupees. He just sits in the jail for a month. And second thing is, in many cases, police tell that we don't have manpower, or it is a civil case, we can't touch it, and going away from their primary duty. So that's why the current petition is talking about changing the law itself is required, the maintenance law, and the personal laws in India, because in India, for every religion, there is a personal. So that is required. And also, whoever is there, whichever department has to, home department, if they have to do it, yes, they have to strictly implement the court orders and also see that the husband pays it. Because the punishment is not an answer for the dignity of women, because they are foregoing their right to dignity and right to live. They are unable to take food, they are unable to go for medical aid, they are unable to continue the education or schooling of their children. So the current maintenance petition is going towards it, and currently it has about 5,000 signatures. So my plea to all of you here is join in this historic moment of signing the petition and asking the governments to amend the law and also put it in place. So there comes the role of the change.org. Even a common man can put forth their petitions, and many others can join hands, and we can bring about a change. And during the lockdown, we have digital community leadership training is also going on by She Creates of change.org platform, where 120 change makers in India are being trained on various skills. I'm trained on how do we use the digital platforms or the digital media to bring a change. So my idea is, once I am acquainted with all these skills, in another 1 month or 2 months, gearing up to start training of youth women and even men also to be part of it, and then train them as to fight for campaigns to bring a change in the society. That's very much needed. Because many a times we see it. No, don't see and leave it and be a part of the change.
Wow, you definitely have a heart of gold. Remarkable, groundbreaking initiatives that you're working on, and to have that eye, right, to help others. Many of us see and think the same, but it takes courage and a full determination to take steps, right? One of the examples that you shared, you were just at the airport and noticing that something was missing, and you just jumped on it to make sure that we were able to make that change to help women. So that's definitely very remarkable, and not to mention the forward thinking, right? So your initiatives are not just based on what happened in the past or what's happening right now, but they are also future-proof for generations to come. And it's not easy. Like you mentioned, that any initiatives that you're working on, they're full of hardships, and that leads me to, out of curiosity, ask you this, that, you know, knowing your story that you shared with me personally, the hardships that you've been through, and it was not easy. And so please do tell us about that story so all of us can learn those hardships that you have faced. But beside that, I think the most important question here is, how did you maintain such strength and determination to fight for women's equality and representation despite all these hiccups and hardships?
Besides getting the strength, how it comes? It won't come on its own overnight. Let me tell you, the few incidents made me much more stronger. In childhood, I am very calm, and especially my youngest sister always used to drag me, yes, come, yes, come, yes, we'll go, like that. But now I am very bold enough to lead thousands of women. How it started the journey is in 1987, 30th of October, when we are traveling from Vijayawada to Hyderabad, me, my husband, my 5-year-old daughter, and my sister. Then we met with a car crash, and he was killed. We tried until his last moment even to stop the vehicles to give him a lift to take to the hospital. None of them stopped. As my sister is a doctor, she told me, she gave all the first aid, and she told, we are in such a critical situation. We need somebody to help us to give a lift to the hospital. Then she told that, let us form a row and we block the road. Then the youngsters have stopped the car and they gave us a lift. And we took him to the hospital, and it's only death declaration. And it is so hard to believe that going for an occasion has completely made me blank what to do. But, okay, what next? Then the life went on like that, with a different topsy-turvy, with in-laws issues and all those things as others face. And here I want to tell that as husband passed away, I became a widow. And as per Indian norms, they think that a widow is not auspicious to attend for any functions. So once my sister told me that we'll go for a marriage after 6 months of my husband's death. So when we went on to the dais and blessed the couple, then there's a grumbling on the dais that how dare she is she became a widow after 6 months only coming to bless the couple. Yes, it's very natural. It pricked me so much. Then when I came into the car, I started crying. My sister told, it's not your fault, it is their fault. So we should start changing them, not you. You are very bold. We should make other widows also to come like this and bless the couple and attend. And also when I attended for one of the service providers of the government to get my family member's certificate, because my marriage is registered under Special Marriage Act. Then they told that, okay, this certificate is okay, but we don't know whether you are wife until his death or he married somebody. So we need to have an inquiry about it. So what is missing here is, I always feel the sensitivity of dealing with a wounded soul, which is very, very necessary. Whoever is the service provider, they should be sensitive and act accordingly. So these issues has a lot of impact on me, how the life of the woman. And also as a single woman, at a very young age of 28 years, face a lot of sexual abuse and advances. I hear many stories nowadays from many people, and like that I too have faced it. But to share to our own siblings or to share to our own close people, very, very, very difficult. So a platform is not there and a trusted person is not there. So when the life is going like that, suddenly there is a issue came up for my daughter. 3 days of fever. She's the only daughter for me and she too passed away. That made my life really blank. And also I questioned myself, is there any meaning for me to live again? As all other women thought, let me a full stop for the life. But again thought, what next? That made me to go for further studies in Canada, and I did it. And then when I am going through all this work, my father has suggested that you also need a kind of a companion in life. So do you have anybody in idea? I told him, nobody in my idea. Then with his suggestion and with other family members' suggestion, I went into the marriage. The proposal came up and my father and me and everybody in the family told, what I want from him is mental peace. But what I have seen for 7 years is a lot of turbulence in life. Couldn't even share to anybody. And it's both physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. And he used to break the television, break the mobiles, break the chairs. So as a professional and also studied psychology, I know pretty well that's cautioning me. So I don't want to go to any kind of a dialogue with him. So I used to go out and sit in the office and do my work. And what I can tell you, the strength, how I picked up is, after 7 years trying him to do counseling, then I felt that, no, I should put a full stop. Then I shared my agony with my 2 sisters and then to my mother and brother and brother-in-laws. I'm really grateful that my family is so supportive for me, which many, many women do not get it. And they are very supportive, whatever the decision I do. Then I went to the divorce. But whenever I get any kind of a crisis in life, I have started demarcating between personal life and professional life. Women, whenever they get any kind of a problem, we just stop at our personal life thinking about why the problem came to me. I started thinking that, yes, I got it. What is next? And how can I grow professionally? Yes, the personal issue is going on. I filed in the court for divorce. Let it take its own course. But how can I grow professionally? Then registered for PhD and took it like a mission. Yes, I should complete it. Then completed within 3.5 years and got my PhD. Every crisis has made me to go professionally grow. That is very, very much required for all the women. And every crisis has given me a lot of strength. We always think only a positive things will give us good results and also make us to grow. No, it is also the negative side of life, accidentally which we get it or intentionally we get it. We should pave the way for our professional growth. That's why I'm standing here today. And also how I am growing and how I am doing is when my daughter died, it is really a kind of an agony. Even today also, even after 36 years, I remember her every day, number of times. Because I am alone now, physically, but I am much more stronger now. Then donated her eyes in India. It is linked with many kind of traditions and orthodox feelings. Then donated her eyes to 2 congenitally blind people. And those who could not see a light on the color are able to see the world. And then after 6 years, started an eye bank. And it's a community-based eye bank run by Vasavya Mahila Mandali. And my daughter is now living in 900 people. That is a great strength. Because I am not sitting like that, oh, my daughter died like that. No. We should always find a crisis as an opportunity and do good for others. And after my daughter's death, my outlook has completely changed. When our light is fading out, give a light for others. Don't think of your own thing or think that everything you only have to have it. No, let others also have it. And enjoy the beauty. When the blind person who is able to see first time, oh, this is what light is, oh, this is what the leaves are. That gives me a lot of contentment. I don't tell that my daughter has studied this, that, and also we don't know when there is also early on. So let us do something whenever we have a light, start doing it. And this made me to think and also to give strength for the other women. One day a woman came and she told that my husband is beating, I am like this, and he has an extramarital relations and all those things. And then she told that nobody is having a problem. Then when I told my own story to her, she told that my story is very small than yours. That's what we should create it. Even to tell my own story on this platform to you, it needs a lot of strength. Whenever I share my story, my heart becomes very heavy. But that heaviness gives me happiness. At least I am able to sensitize some of the people how to respect a widow, how to be dignified towards a single woman, and how to respect the other woman on this earth, whether it be public places or at a workplace. Because as women working, I know that many a times men taking advantage and sexual harassment at workplaces. So I made it a point. Yes, I be a part of many internal complaints committees in India and working on it and writing the stories of these. And what I am doing with this is many women are getting strengthened and sharing their stories. When I ask them that, would you come on to the screen? They are not willing. But I do respect their feelings. So, shortly coming up, releasing a book, Heroes Creating a Change. So those who are not interested to show their face, let us hear to their stories. Even a name change, that doesn't make any difference. So that is what making me to move from step to step. And also many other organizations are also giving a lot of strength.
Wow, that's really great to hear, and thank you so much for sharing your personal story with all of us today. And I know it's not easy every time you mention that and you share that, but what's uplifting about it is how you handled it, how you encourage yourself, and what you have become, right? It's quite motivational for all of us to hear, watch, and see your work, and it gives us strength. You touched a very important point in regards to domestic violence, which is still happening, and it's a very crucial issue that all of us can't talk enough, and we have to collaboratively work to help women all over the world. And that's something that you have personally experienced. I have personally experienced. You said 7 years. I have experienced for 10 years. And I'm very proud to be part of UN Women USA LA chapter who advocates and help women to get out of such situations. And if you check online, we have ran campaigns about it very recently as well. And I'm very grateful for my team members as well for spreading the word here in LA community. What are your thoughts, and tell us about your initiatives that you worked on for people who have faced such issue, and what can we do to support you in this journey in regards to domestic violence?
Currently, we get maybe not less than 10 calls a day. Sometimes my day starts with, they don't know whom I am. By seeing our website or browsing in the Google, they get our numbers and they call us. And they tell that, this is what my problem, and we solve it. We should always be very, very motivating and should never be judgmental towards it. It is not only me, we have developed like a team. And I can tell you the few initiatives which we are taking it, sustainable initiatives, especially with community-led programs. Some are like community women formed into Mahila Mitra, as you have seen it. And they are the one who are at the ground level. So what we did is building the capacities of those women is very essential. And also they are coming from the same communities and also same attitudinal mindsets and behaviors. So it is a lengthy process to work on the transformation in the attitudes and behaviors. But started doing it and yielding good results. So the women, those who have been Like one woman, she always tells she was married at the age of 15 years, discontinued her 9th standard, and she was married to a relative. But now she is capacitated and talking to the woman and doing counseling. And when we are doing the counseling, what we are seeing is there is no ready-made solutions for the counseling, or each one's issue may differ. So what is required is, what we can give is only a tips. During the lockdown, we all started working from home. But normally, when a woman faces problem, they want to see us physically, and that gives them a lot of solace. So immediately we started telecounseling. And also, it needs a kind of a registration of cases with the police. Then talk to the Director General of Police, and can we start counseling? Can you also be supportive? Yes, we are there. It is all started with a voluntary initiative. With a 3 months time, we are able to take up 384 cases of domestic violence through telecounseling. Because there is no transport to come, and people cannot come outside of the houses, because there is only limited time which is given to get the basic necessities. And they can't even go to the police stations. There are many, many hurdles are there. Then, who has to design the interventions? We ourselves has to design it. So, we as a civil society organization, Vasavya Mahila Mandali, has called few people from Odisha, from Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. We are 7-8 of us formed into a group and giving it, posting it on social media and doing counseling. That has really an eye-opener for us. And then within few days, we thought that we should come up with some of the tips for women facing domestic violence during lockdown. There is no video cameras available outside because it's a lockdown. So we used our own mobile sets and created a kind of 11 tips, and each one gave one tip and made it one of the person who is also in the film. She made as a short film, which is only like 1.5 minutes, but 11 tips. If a woman is facing domestic violence, if it is not a sudden spur, even previously if she is coming with some of the symptoms, what cautions she has to take, what she has to bring with her, whom to call. These things are very necessary. So we are doing it both online and offline, and educating the women, those who are facing domestic violence, because prevention is better than cure. So that's why we tell them that how to manage the crisis. And I always tell that when women facing domestic violence, they need a bunch of things. It can be counseling. Yes, it gives a effect for the woman to face the situation. But when they come outside of the home, now we talked of maintenance. Yes, they have to go through different legal channels. That takes time. In the meantime, we have to give her skills and make her to live a humble life. I can tell you a story of one woman who is in early 30s and having a daughter, is being taken out of home, and she is single now. We provided she is a graduate, but with no skills, technical skills, or able to get a job. Provided her training in computers, provided her training in English, and then she got a job, and she is living respectably with her daughter and supporting for her daughter's education. And recently I got a call from her that in the place where she is staying, that one woman is being cheated. So what to do? What suggestion we have to give? How to make her to go out and move out? So like this, every woman, we counsel them and tell them that you be a supporter for the other woman. That's very much required. Because it is not only the suggestions we give has to be absorbed for herself and lead her life, but also we should make her to bold enough and to guide others. Then her problem becomes small and she becomes also much stronger. And with regard to Mahila Mitra, we have initiated in 21 police stations in Vijayawada City Police. On an experimental basis, it is started, and then it went into starting of sensitization and all those things, basically to make the police stations women-friendly.
Wow, that's amazing. And talking about the community's involvement and so many people getting involved, helping you, how are your supporters spreading the word in their own communities? And tell us about the growth of the initiative that you worked on and how far it spread in regards to the cities or region there.
The women became much more stronger from the day they came. Started with 134 women. Now it is expanded to 11,000 women.
Wow.
And giving them capacities, giving them orientation, giving them knowledge and hand-holding support. Because it's just one-time training, we give it to them and leave it to them, it's very difficult. Because situations will be changing and sometimes they need a hand-holding support from us that how to handle this. So the supporters and the change makers are giving at the community level awareness, both to the self-help group women and also going to schools and colleges, and they are giving training for them. And they themselves are also bold enough when they face a kind of a cyber crime. Now they are also going and giving complaints and talking to them boldly and preserving all the messages they get it. So that's how the women empowerment means. They themselves should own it and they themselves should step out, work for other women. I don't say that they should not be with the family. Yes, if they are very convenient with the family, stay with the family, sensitize your own families and come and work with your own families. So let it have a multiplier effect. So what this is giving is a lot of multiplier effect. And also this initiative is being taken up by few other governments also. Government of Andhra Pradesh has scaled up or initiated into the system throughout Andhra Pradesh since is almost like 1 year, August 9th, 2019. Its government of Andhra Pradesh has did it. And before this COVID lockdown went to Pune and also Odisha and Hyderabad and talked to them. And we are really interested to scale up the interventions with the government and with to initiate. So in the process of this, what we are seeing is it is not one organization or a civil society joining hands with the government can't do it. It needs a kind of a sensitized officers who can understand that the issues are very, everybody tells that, yes, violence against women is a big issue and we are for it. But what is required is a kind of think out of box is very essential. When the government has to join or take over into the system, yes, be proactive, be think out of box. That is how the then Police Commissioner of Vijayawada and DMM has jointly initiated Mahila Mitra. So what? And also, I can tell the proactiveness of the US consulate. US consulate has seen the work. Basically, Catherine Hadda, who worked as a consulate general, she is very, very supportive. And by seeing her work, and we have initiated 2 programs with US consulate. One is engaging the youngsters to be the change makers. We call it as Yuva Mitra program that was in 30 colleges, trained 1,200 youth in gender-based violence. In each college, day long, we did for 2 days. It's almost like 12 hours program we did in each college. In Hyderabad in Telangana, Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Bhubaneswar in Odisha. So that has developed a kind of 1,200 young change makers. And by seeing all these things, it is not the corporates didn't keep quiet. SCL Foundation is being supporting the cause of Safe Cities initiative in Vijayawada, and they are supporting for community level interventions, and also as we tell that they need a bunch of services, they are doing it. Besides this, in our program, we are also giving counseling for eve teasers. Means the men or the boys, those who are teasing the women and girls in the public spaces. I think some countries they call it as cat call. So they are doing it. So what we are doing is, it is not only catching the eve teasers by the police, but as Mahila Mitra taken the responsibility with the system and counseling of those eve teasers and giving them skills, what is required for them, and put them in a better placement in life and live with dignity. So that kind of orientation is happening. Because if we tell always a perpetrator or a person is doing wrong things, the transformation has to come from them also when we want to reduce the violence against women and gender-based violence. And also the other area we have started now is male child sexual abuse. Because when like in India, we have a Prevention of Child Sexual Abuse Act is there, which is gender neutral. But how many cases are coming up to the public arena? Very, very few. Because in the society, they think that the boy or the man is never be a victim. So that's why, but we hear the stories of some of the youngsters, those who have been sexually abused from the age of 4 years onwards. So that's why now, recently we have conducted a webinar also on male child sexual abuse. I heard from the voices of those young boys, and they told how much agony they are facing it. That is making them a kind of a psychological trauma. And now we want to have a pan-India study where we want to have a study on male child sexual abuse and also the attitudes and behavior issues with them and how it is leading to the violence against girls and women. Many a time we talk that a 3-year-old girl or a 9-year-old girl has been sexually abused by 50 years or 60 years, 40 years man. So we are talking of it, but we have to go with the evidence-based, also see what is the scientifically happening and also the mindsets and the mental health of those youngsters when they are sexually abused, especially male, because the families itself are not accepting and the society won't accept it. And the systems that tease them, then where they have to tell. So a platform has to be created for all these male child sexual abuses, both in schools, colleges, and in our all the UN bodies also should come forward and we can join hands and we can do on this male child sexual abuse, not as a standalone intervention. We look from the perspective of violence against gender-based violence. That's very much necessary, which we have to do it.
That's incredible. And thank you for sharing such critical issues and shedding the light. That's really amazing. Growing your supporters from 100 plus to 11,000. That's incredible. You had mentioned that, and earlier I had mentioned as well, that you are a forward thinker, right? You have youth in mind when it comes to all of your initiatives for past 40 years. So what is your message for young leaders and change makers? And what can we do as a community to support next generation?
Youth are having a lot of power and lot of technology skills. What they lack is a kind of a mentorship. Many of the countries, they are concentrating, especially in India, they concentrate only on the academic side of education, means getting degrees and all those things. What I feel is, for our youngsters, in the academic system itself, we should build them life skills. We should build them life skills and crisis management. And from school onwards, a value education is very much necessary. And it's not only the classroom work, but giving some of the credits for the work which they do at the communities. That makes them to understand that what is the reality in the society and what is their responsibility as an youngster. Because as a leader, yes, we can give them trainings. It can even be online trainings also. But what is required is a hand-holding support of a field observations, of a field work, and living with the communities is very, very essential. Because my own personal experience as a child, I was grown up in a family where we used to go to communities, sit with them and learn them so much. And the second thing which I can tell very clearly is, you might be having an aim for education, but you create a aim for your life. There should be a mix of both academics and the other co-curricular activities which make you and mold your character and mold your personality. That is very much required while the child is growing. So when we want to build many young leaders and change makers, we should also involve the family. Many a time we ignore that the parents are not being a part of it. Still in India, many of the youngsters are not in a position when the parents say, yes, we want to celebrate your marriage. They don't say no. They calmly go ahead with it. So we should create a platform for parents and students to be very frank enough to tell their life aims. Still, we are seeing child marriages. So the parents should understand and respect and value the life aims and also make your children to have a set goals for the life. That's very essential. Because to create, it is not being a born leader, but you have to cultivate some of the things. Whenever I am going to some of the colleges, I am taking some of the youngsters. So they talk in a young buzzwords. Then there is a lot of encouragement and all this from youngsters. And these young change makers who are coming with me are in contact with those youngsters in the colleges. And whenever they get any kind of an issue, they are sharing with these young change makers. Because as the days are changing, We are in a transformatory stage. So youth to youth engagement is very much necessary. So the youth has to come out and be the change maker, spending some time for it. It is not only academic, but also make them to be potential social change makers. And as I told, that change.org platform is there. And among the change makers also, there are many youngsters are there. Very creative, very innovative, and think out of box. And what they take up is an issue. And I want to tell youngsters one thing is, when you see any issue, yes, you know that's a problem which is not happening there. Do not keep quiet. Start analyzing it, act on it. I don't say that if somebody is having a class, jump it. No. Then think of it, why it's happening, what to do. That makes you to design the ideas. And if there's any issue in the community, if you can do it, put it on the social platforms or change.org and then do it. Drops of water become emotion. To become a leader, what Gandhiji has done when he was discriminated in South Africa, he just got down in the train. That seems to be a very small incident, but that led to the Freedom India and also made him to be the Mahatma for the whole of the world, with a non-violent how one can do it. And he showed us a path. That's what we all have to take it. So in colleges, in schools, we all have to make the young leaders and change makers start from there. Then we can see that in a couple of years, I am very optimistic that we can see a world. We talk of cyber crime. We should talk of cyber safety. So how do we make let us use the positive terminology which will be more friendly for our youngsters instead of a negative terminology, and be a friend to the youngster. Instead of not doing this, that, tell them that this is what you can do. Give them a kind of a motivation and all those things. And a small caution for parents, never compare your one child with the other, or never compare your child with the other child. Everyone is unique on this earth. If somebody compares me with somebody, I always tell, I'm Keerthi. So that's why give a kind of a child to tell that, yes, this is what I am. Create our own identity. That is very essential to become a leader. And it's not the followers, it is the others can come up with us and we can make a big world of youngsters where they can lead the world also.
Awesome. And you are Dr. Keerthi, and we all are very moved by your story, your journey, and all your initiatives that you were on. It's a big moment for all of us to do something, right? It starts from small and just accomplish things and just follow your path. So thank you so much for sharing that. I think that I have asked you a lot of questions, and I would like others to ask us questions as well. And I'm seeing questions coming in for you. And I can see how excited this audience is and how happy they are to learn about your work and your story. So before I take any questions, I just wanted to thank you. Not only for being here with us tonight, but also for everything that you have done so far. and a lot more to come. And I'm looking forward to see more of your amazing work. It was certainly an honor to have you and have you as our center light for this event, and that's the least we could do. So as we conclude our conversation and allow time for others to ask questions, any final thoughts that you would like to share?
I just want to give one thing. Today, my mom and dad, means in Telugu, Amma and Nanagar, could not see this live program because they are no more. But when I'm facing all these crises, my mother told that one day you should stand on UN bodies, tell them that how much agony the women are facing. Even as an educated and socially illustrious family, you are coming. But the agony you face and the process to go through all those things, it is a re-victimization. So the voice of voiceless should be heard in that platform. So I'm so honored to UN Women that they have given the platform. So I'm able to fulfill the wish of my parents. And it's a great journey I went with UN Women USA and LA chapter. Basically understanding each other and also respecting each other and also giving a space for me about my feelings, sensitivities, and also the thoughts. So I feel that this is only a beginning where the journey has to go until we succeed in a safe world for women and girls. And for that one, coming up with a global alliance for women facing different kinds of violence, especially domestic violence. So I'm honored to be on this platform. Now, the floor is open for the discussion, and I can take up any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Keerthi. And I really appreciate your thoughts that you have shared with me. I think there was a bit of a delay towards the end, but I hope you can hear us. We're just thanking you for sharing your thoughts. Really appreciate it. So with that, I will be moving. Of course. So I am quickly going over the questions and we'll try to cover as much as we can. I know we are running out of time. One of the question was, what was the most significant barrier that you have experienced as far as your career is concerned, and what are your advice, I would say, for young professionals who might also be facing such hurdles while trying to do such amazing work like yours?
The major hurdle which we face is from our side itself. It is like self-stigma or self-blocking ourselves. I became a widow. Yes, I am a single now. Don't think we are never losers in life. We are always achievers. So go with a positive thought. And also for all the professional, if any problems, I can tell you, go professionally is
I think we are having some technical difficulties, Dr. Keerthi, hearing you. bear with me 1 second. Can you hear us okay, Dr. Keerthi?
Yeah, now I'm able to hear. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please. So sorry to interrupt. Please go ahead.
Yeah, as a professional woman, when we face some issues also at personal level, try to demarcate the personal life and professional life. That's what my first thing. And also try to have a positive outlook about life. Never stop at once the personal issue comes up. In my own life, I can tell you that I did my studies in Canada after my husband and daughter passed away. Two tragedies did not stop me to go further for Canada. But there's a big crisis in my life that made me to move ahead. So what is required at that stage is what next? Because I can't bring my husband back. I can't bring my daughter back. But let me do something for the world. And second thing, when I faced a lot of domestic violence, what I did is I registered for PhD. And then I did my PhD also. So that's why for all the professionals, I tell that you try to demarcate between the personal life and professional life, and only we'll grow.
That's great. And can everyone see my screen? Some of the questions we covered already, and one of the questions that I'm seeing right now, and I really like, that what would be the first step that we can take, and how can we start contributing the same way you have done, and considering the fact that we are running out of time, we are going a little over. I just wanted to share that all the information that's shared today is available on our social media, as well as Dr. Keerthi's platform. Please do check our content so you can learn more about her work, as well as what UN Women USA LA chapter does. And with that, I think the first step would be to encouraging and supporting such individuals, such organizations, to continue to do such amazing work, and also provide you the platform to gain exposure towards your work, your doings. And we would love to hear about your work and anything we can do to support, whether it's through this organization or the chapter. So due to the limitation of the time, unfortunately, I will just quickly wrap up with my counterpart by encouraging all of you to check out our social media, as well as our online content, along with Dr. Keerthi, and please do join us in any way you can to spread the word, and also to learn what we are doing and what this organization is about. So with that, I will hand it over to Mia, my team member from UN Women USA LA chapter, to talk about what would be the benefits of joining our team, joining our organization to help support such great individuals like Dr. Keerthi. So Mia, floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tara, and thank you, Dr. Keerthi. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that we are so inspired by the work that you're doing, and thank you for your knowledge and your wise words. It's absolutely incredible what you're advocating for, and we all are honored to have you speak with us. So thank you. And Tara, thank you so much for facilitating the Q&A. That was incredible. Just to briefly talk about Tara, wait for you to get this slide up. So being a member of UN Women USA LA, you get discounted pricing on all of our events. You receive 8 hours of free professional coaching to assist you in reaching your goals. You can continue becoming an advocate by joining all of our campaign and committees, and you will receive most current news on UN Women global policy and program development, global happenings, and much more when you become a member. And going on to, or Tara, I'll wait for you to get the.
Absolutely, and I think that's a great point. I would love to be part of this 8 hours of free professional coaching, and that's what Dr. Keerthi was saying, right? That not only develop your personal skills to deal with such crises or what's happening in your life, but also develop yourself professionally, and that's where this initiative comes in. And I'm very thankful for this chapter to have that option for our members.
Exactly. And so when you join, there is an image of the t-shirts that are that we're offering, that Tara, I'll wait for you to.
Absolutely. So today we are encouraging all of you to join. So whoever joins us between today and tomorrow will be getting this amazing t-shirt, and hopefully you can see it on my screen, the front and back of the t-shirt, and we are giving it away as our thank you and welcome gift to first a few members joining today and tomorrow in USA. And Mia, can you see the pictures on my screen?
I can see it now, yeah.
Perfect.
Very much. Yeah, so that is our gift, these awesome t-shirts, and the first 15 members, like Tara said, will get these incredible t-shirts from people joining from the US. And so continuing on just to talk about donating to UN Women, we are so grateful for the donations that we receive, especially during these unprecedented times. You know, COVID has impacted all of us globally, and especially women have been impacted by COVID-19, women and girls. And so you can visit our page, donate.unwomen.org, just to give some background on you know, statistics on what's been happening with COVID in relation to women and girls. Women are 70% of health and social workers globally. Women are more likely to lose an income. Women who are displaced, refugees, or migrant workers are particularly vulnerable in a pandemic. In quarantine, domestic violence and sexual exploitation have risen. Access to justice is disrupted. Women do 3 times more the unpaid care work compared to men. Women's health and education must not be put on hold. So again, you can donate at donate.unwomen.org, and we greatly appreciate, you know, all of our donations, and it goes a long way. So thank you in advance, and thank you to those who have donated in the past. And just to conclude on the last slide, Tara, are you able to get the last slide up? I don't know if your screen is.
I think it's up. There might be a delay. So here, I would encourage all of you, like I mentioned earlier, to join us online. And our social media handle is UN Women LA, which is UNWOMEN LA, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And that's where you will see not only our work and what we are doing for others, for women, and for all the great initiatives that we talked about briefly today, but also a remarkable journey of Dr. Keerthi. And please feel free to share some more questions if you have, and we'll continue this dialogue. And this momentum should and must continue, and this work should continue as well for future generation, for youth, and for us to spread the word. It is extremely important that we use online platforms such as social media outlets, and that could be such an easy start. And homes, just sharing the word using these platforms would go a long way.
And thank you, Tara, for adding all of that. And with that, I want to close by saying thank you again so much for everyone for being here. For those in India, thank you for taking your morning out to be here with us. And Dr. Keerthi, thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your wise words. It means so much. And I think, you know, I can speak for everyone when I say that we're going to leave here with, so much inspiration, and I just can't thank you enough. And it was incredible just listening to you speak. And thank you for all that you're doing for women's rights and gender equality. And so with that, I just want to thank everyone again. I hope everyone has an incredible rest of the day for you, for those of you in India, and for those of you in LA or in the US, enjoy the rest of your night. And thank you. I'm just so grateful to be a part of Young Women LA chapter. And Tara, if you have any other last words.
Thank you, Mia, and I wanted to thank you for all your help, as well as all my counterpart at Young Women USA LA, all our team members and board members, Kathy, for helping putting together this event. And such initiatives are really remarkable to provide a platform for such great individuals to share their stories. So stay tuned, there are more to come. We do have these chapter events happening quite consistently, so please do follow us on social media and learn more about it. And very excited to be part of this journey. Once again, thank you everyone who joined us and for being part of this conversation tonight, and this shall continue. Like Dr. Keerthi said, no silence for violence. So it starts here, that we must share and we must talk about it, and dignity and respect for every woman. So with that, I thank you again for your time, and I wish you all the best, and take care. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.